disappointing today. Plenty of big surprises though, up and down the country. Uwe Rosser's Fleetwood held Leicester to a goalless draw. The Premier League side didn't register a single shot on target. A few other shocks for you. Bournemouth needed an injury time equaliser from Steve Cook just to draw with the League One leaders Wigan. They led 2-0 at half-time. There was an upset at Villa Park. Peterborough of League One beating Aston Villa. And how about this? Jack Grimmer, the hero for League Two Coventry, 53 places below Stoke as Mark Robbins got the better of his old Manchester United teammate Mark Hughes in that one. And you can see the rest of the results there from what was a day with plenty of goals involved. There was a point where we thought that Burnley were going to surprise Manchester City, but the leaders in the Premier League fought back to win 4-1 at home. And of course we will talk about all of this on FA Cup tonight. We're going to be looking back on the day's results. We'll also discuss Philippe Coutinho's imminent move to Barcelona as well for £142 million. If you've got a thought on that, if you're a Liverpool fan, drop us a quick message. It was a funny old game today. It never really came to life for either side. What's it like when you're the bigger team and you play in a game like that and it just doesn't switch on?
Well, we've played them. I think we've all played them, and the important thing is not to lose. We're going to talk positives to Chelsea that they didn't lose the game, but it's hard, as I say. I'm talking about urgency, I'm talking about all these things, and sometimes it just doesn't go for you. And in retrospect, you look at the back three, a few sloppy moments in the first half. After that, they weren't hurt that much. So, you know, Rudiger, I think Gary Cahill, pretty secure. David Luiz, a couple of hiccups. But if you look at it in general, it's one of those. You have to kind of wipe your face, say that was one of those games. We didn't lose, but we certainly did perform. When I would be more concerned, as I say, about the individuals. If I'm that player who's come in, this was my chance. Yeah. And I think they're the ones that probably go home on the bus, and it'll be a longer drive home.
OK, we'll look at the individuals in a moment, but first let's go live to the tunnel because the Norwich boss, Daniel Farker, is waiting to speak to us. Daniel, we've just been talking about how disappointing Chelsea were today. By contrast, you must be full of pride for the performance from Norwich.
Yes, to be honest, a bit disappointed we are too, because we were there with a brilliant performance. I just can praise the lads. I think our plan totally worked, so we want to put the strengths away, we want to mirror Chelsea in the way they play, and I think it was a brilliant first half. In the second half there were some situations, but I think all in all it was the draw is a fair result, but we were a bit disappointed because we got the feeling out of this performance we deserve a bit more and deserve to celebrate after such a performance, and for that, to be honest, we were a bit disappointed with this draw.
Daniel, you changed the shape of the team to three at the back today, I think quite late. You haven't been playing it so much recently. Are you pleased with how much the players took on board how you wanted to play? Because I think Chelsea found it very hard to play through you, particularly in the first half, and they were very disciplined in their positions.
Yes, I think when you face an opponent with higher individual class, you have to find some solution, and one thing is you have to bring all your basement behavior in the game, and the lads were brilliant with their attitude. We did. The second thing is to have a clear plan, and you have also pretty much to mirror the opponent to put their strengths away, and I think Chelsea didn't find any solution in the first half. In the second half, okay, there were some crossing situations, some shootings and some half chances or whatever, but we were good out of some counter situations too, and to be honest, I would prefer to be a bit more concentrated in possession in the second half, to dominate more the game like we did in the first half, but all in all, like I said, so brilliant performance of my lads, and I think we can take a lot of self-confidence out of this performance.
Absolutely. About 90 minutes ahead of kick-off, we all had the news that Nelson Oliveira was playing in your team today, and it was four at the back. So, at what point did you know Nelson wasn't fit, and you changed your formation?
Yeah, to be honest, Nelson played in all our last 7 games, had a lot of load over the festive period, and during the week he had some problems with swollen foot, and for that we had a late decision this morning that we do without him, but the lads were prepared also with Nelson. We want to play in this way, and the lads were prepared, and yeah, for sure, Nelson has an individual quality which is outstanding for us, and so for that we didn't want to take any risk also for the league, and thank God the plan worked today, sadly not with a win.
Daniel, was that your decision for Nelson Oliveira not to start, or was that his decision?
Yeah, when you know there's a big game and all the players want to be there in the big games, and want to face such an opponent like Chelsea, and I speak pretty honest with Nelson about this topic, so 100% he would like to take the risk and play, but I think I'm responsible for my lads, and I'm responsible for the whole season, and for that I had to take this decision.
We were all impressed today with Maddison, with Murphy, with Pritchard. What are you going to do to lock them away until the 1st of February? What's the plan?
I don't have to do anything, so we have no financial pressure. So I think they all appreciate to be here for us, for Norwich, and I think it's a good situation. So I would be more concerned when no other club would be interested in my players. So if there are some interest, it means we have some good players. We're doing a good job, and that's what we did. And I think lads have to learn a lot, and they can improve a lot also in the recent weeks and in the next weeks. And yeah, I'm looking forward to work further on with them and to improve them more and more, and that helps Norwich, that helps them, and then we all together have a lot of fun with that.
Good man, Daniel. 7 points from 9 over Christmas, 3 clean sheets in the last 4, a replay against Chelsea. This is something to build on now for the second half of the season and make the playoffs, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of pressure. So I think it's important to be realistic. So we finished the first half of the season on position 16 in the table. Right now we are in the background table on position 1 together with Wolves, but it's early doors in the background, so at least the tendency is pretty good, and we're in a good shape at the moment, and we are able to climb the table a bit. How far we will see, so it's also up to how, if there are some injuries, problems, in which shape we are. You need sometimes a little bit game luck and something like this, but I think we're totally on the right way, and we're running up the hill, and that's good, and we'll see how far we can get.
I love it. Good man. Congratulations today. Well done.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's terrible hosting the team you support, I tell you. I'm trying my best to be impartial. Norwich's defending was the key today, wasn't it? They just looked so much more solid than previously in the season when they were shipping 3, 4, 5 goals in game.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy with the switch, in full switch before the game. It was a risk. The biggest compliment I think we can pay this Norwich defence is Chelsea didn't really have a clear-cut chance. I like Angus Gunn as a goalkeeper, but he really didn't have a lot to do. They were protected ever so well in front by Tetty and Treble, but they defended deep, as you'd expect. Not a great deal of pace with those 3 centre-halves, but they kept the shape, they got the distances right, and they were comfortable. I mean, Batshuayi had a disappointing game from Chelsea's point of view, but you have to credit for the commitment Norwich defended with it, and the organisation.
Yeah, I mean, they close all the gaps, and I think when Chelsea really, they're players that they're going to hurt Norwich really, who are the catalysts really, are Willian and Pedro, and they get in their little holes in front of the back 3 for Norwich, but behind the midfield, and they stop those easy passes. And Willian got a few in the second half, but their discipline, their hard work throughout, they deserve the result purely for that. And taking that all on board, taking that information in a late change is big credit to all of them.
It was a big result for Norwich in terms of confidence. The performances this season in the Championship, let's get it right, haven't been good enough, and they've struggled, and I think a lot of fans are disappointed with the position. But what they can do is they can take a lot of heart from the way they defended today.
What did you think of the talented trio up front for Norwich? People around here have spoken about a lot. It was your first chance really seeing them live.
I liked them, and we were talking to Chris before the game, and we were wondering who is the actual out-and-out centre forward, and they didn't have one, and that might have been their only downfall because they couldn't actually get and hurt Chelsea enough in the box. But their link-up play and appreciation of each other was very good. They were very confident. I mean, I think we're talking about players. Murphy there wasn't scared to running it through Luger, and I think we're talking about 3 players there that will play in the Premier League. From what I've seen there today, now listen, they're going to develop. The issue with the final ball, as we saw here a few times in the first half, but link up, run behind. That's where I want to see forwards go. Don't take the easy option and come to feet, run behind. Rudiger's quickly got back in, he still manages to get his shot away. Okay, that's the next thing to come in his game, but I think all 3 of them were very impressive in their link up and will take huge confidence from them.
Didn't hide, did they? They didn't hide. It was important for Norwich to get up the pitch, and they didn't have that focal point in Oliveira. I think they tired a little bit second half, but Pritchard and Maddison are really good footballers, good football brain, showed for the ball, good on the half turn. It just needed that runner at times, which Murphy at times gave, and this was the one. I just wondered whether Pritchard, they would try and feed that into the far corner, but he looks really sharp, and he missed a large part of the season with injury.
And you get this same message a lot from Norwich, which is we're under no financial pressure, we don't need to sell players. That's very different to being able to keep hold of players like Alex Pritchard, who absolutely wants to be in the Premier League, and that's fine, you understand that, I think.
Well, it's how much, has always been how much at Norwich, and they will be tested. And with the riches there are in the Premier League this season, they're going to do well to hold on to Pritchard. They say they don't have to sell, but it'll be interesting how this one pans out. Big offer comes in, they will sell, Jake. They always have done.
That's the way football is, isn't it? Let's turn our attention back to Chelsea then. We sat here and we were all disappointed to a man with the Chelsea performance, but Willian was probably the only shining light in that second half with the chances, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, at half-time they had no choice but to up their game, the urgency in their game, and they started pretty sharp and they had this opportunity very early, but I think Willian was the player really who started to manage to get on the ball. He starts to get the more knees everything. When he stands you up and pushes it past you, he's one of the best in the Premier League at doing that. He's balanced there, and he's a player that when he's in front of you, he puts fear into you, and that's what Chelsea need. They need urgency. They need someone to take someone on, take someone out of the game, get a shot away, excite the team, start getting people moving. It never really materialised outside of him, other than here.
Why does that happen in games?
Why? Well, I don't know. I mean, credits to Norwich, first of all. Maybe you talk about some players that are not playing regularly. Batshuayi is not playing regularly. I'm not making excuses here, but it's a matter of fact that if you're not playing regular football, match fitness, match sharpness, maybe they're a bit upset they're not playing. Pedro, who generally is sharp, whether he's playing regularly or not, wasn't quite at it today. So when those creative players who you rely on to create aren't quite at it, then you lose that edge to your game.
I think they lacked a centre forward in Batshuayi who wasn't willing to run in behind. He didn't stretch the Norwich backline, and even Morata wasn't on for very long, but there were a couple of instances where he nearly got in, and they didn't seem to have that understanding with Batshuayi which they have with Morata.
Okay, just to remind you, we're live here until 9 o'clock tonight. FA Cup